Hello, friends. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been with you on a Wednesday for Brave in Action. And that is because we had the Brave Method workshop, which started on a Tuesday and ended on a Wednesday. And I was hoping that most of you would come and hang out with us there, and a whole bunch of you did. So I'm so glad. It was an incredible 9 days. We will do a workshop again in July. We'll be sure to let you know so you can mark your calendars and save the date. Today, we are talking about a topic that's really quite near and dear to my heart. The difference in being a quitter and assessing the situation, gathering information, and making a decision that something is just for you. And there have been many times in my life where I have been up against this, but the story that actually comes to mind that's most heart-centered for me is revolving around my daughter, my oldest daughter, who is a wild perfectionist. She gets herself into too many things. Are any of you like that? Do any of you do that? I do that sometimes. Gets herself into too many things and then doesn't have the ability to balance it or manage it. And a couple of years ago, she auditioned for the school musical and got a part, but also had a bunch of other things happening. There were 3 or 4 other really major things happening for her in her life, and super stressed and super overwhelmed. And her dad and I spoke about it, and I took her for a walk, took her out for ice cream. And I said, listen, you don't have to do this show. And she said, no, but I can't be a quitter. I'm not a quitter. I'm not going to quit on it. And I said, but darling, there's a difference. There's a difference in quitting and saying, I have gathered all of this information and I have decided this doesn't serve me. This isn't healthy for me. It's not good for me. It's not what I want. It's not how I want to spend my time. I'm not going to be able to give it 100%. You're not going to really like having me there anyway. So I'm not going to do this. And she actually had 5, now that I think about it, she had 5 things going on. And I said she needed to quit 2 of them. She needed to let go of 2 things and then keep 3 things. So one of them was a morning music choir, and she didn't want to do it. She's very anxious, and she didn't want to tell people that she wasn't going to keep doing these things. So I said, well, just blame me. Just blame mom. Just say my parents are making me drop some things because there's too much on my plate. So I sent the message for that. And, she was 14 at the time. So, it's good to have people to support you and help you delegate there. But how do we decide when we're fooling ourselves, when we're like quitting because we're not pushing hard enough, or we're not trying hard enough, or it's not, we're not really giving it our all, when we're just sort of screwing ourselves over, versus when is it just not a good fit? And that is one of the reasons that I love the Brave Method. And I especially love the 3 R's: reassessment, reframing, resilience, and the 3 R's. If you are doing consistent reassessment and reframing in your life and in your business, what feels good? Do I feel balanced? Am I spending my time the way I want to be spending it? Am I doing the things I want to do? Am I supporting the people I want to support? Am I making the money I want to make? Like all of those things. If you are reassessing regularly and then deciding what your next step is from that, reframing what you've learned, getting into action, getting back up, starting over. If you're doing that consistently, you will find things that don't fit. You'll find boundaries you want to let go of, maybe clients that you don't want to work with anymore, or people that you're working with you don't want to work with anymore. You may decide there are some friendships that don't serve you. That's all okay. And you can decide, this is something that I no longer want to invite into my life. I no longer want to invite it into my life because of X. So being really honest about why. I don't want to invite it into my life because it doesn't make me feel good, or it's not getting me closer to my goals, or it isn't making a big enough impact, or whatever, right? You can use your accountability support system. If you have that in place, you can connect with other people. You could also just really trust your gut. I don't know how many of you are intuitive folks. I know that I am. And when I have a decision like that, the energy shows up in either the back of my neck or in my belly, my solar plexus. If it shows up in my solar plexus, then it's a good sign. That's a yes. Like either a yes, go forward, or a yes, get rid of it sometimes. And then if it's in the back of my neck, it's a no. It's a cautionary sign. Samantha says it's very freeing to know that I have the power and the control. I can make my own choices in life. Yeah, I mean, it really is. None of us want to be quitters. Who wants to be a quitter, right? Here would be a situation that's totally quitting for me. I've been working for months now on a new book. It's very exciting. The book is called Fuck Fearless, Making the Brave Leap. I'm very excited to share it with you all. I wrote in November, I wrote 56,000 words, and then I was going to finish it by the end of the year, and I totally didn't. And then the end of the year came and the beginning of the year, and things are crazy. But I decided to hold my feet to the fire and have it finished by the end of this week and in the hands of pre-readers. Because I knew that if I didn't make a commitment and hold firm, that I was going to keep pushing this date off and pushing this date off, right? Because I want to have this book through editing, through developmental editing and copy editing and layout and line layout and publishing and in your hands by fall. That's what I want, right? And I worked really hard on it. If I just didn't ever pick this book up again, that would be quitting. It would be quitting because it would be cutting myself short. It would be taking away something I've worked so hard for and just not believing in myself. It would be quitting because this is a really great book and people are going to want to read this book. It's going to help people. It's going to inspire people and excite people to make the brave method part of their life, to do the big, hard, scary thing, to trust themselves, right? I know that the world needs this book. So if I didn't do that, that would be quitting. However, starting a new book right now, which I have an idea of what I want to do right now, is not going to happen. And it's not going to happen because I have a lot of things happening. There are a lot of moving parts and a lot of things on my plate. And if I'd started a new book right now, before I'd finished with this old one, before we finish the Kickstarter for the Create Brave cards, which I'll tell you all about in a minute, if I started that right now, it will cause me tremendous overwhelm. And I would half-ass a lot of the other things that I'm doing. And I know that that's just me saying, I'm not going to do that right now. One of the other things that I've been saying no to lately is people want to collaborate, which is really cool. I love collaborating. In fact, I had this conversation with one of my clients, Rachel, just a few weeks ago. She's like, I feel really bad when people want to collaborate with me. They reach out, they want to connect. And I just don't have the space. I don't have the capacity. You don't have to feel bad about that, friends. You can just simply say, I would love to collaborate with you. I don't have the space for it right now. Can you reach out to me in 6 months? And then we can see if we can get it on the books, right? That is something that's really important to say yes or no because it's aligned with you or it's not aligned with you. And you can want something really badly and say yes to it for the future. You don't have to do it right now. You can plan for it. You can budget for it emotionally, mentally, financially, all of that stuff. What do we have here? Barbie, it's not that you aren't going to do that. It's just that you aren't going to do it right now. That's exactly right. But then sometimes there are things that just don't work. Sometimes we have to shed relationships that don't work. Sometimes we have to shed clients that don't work. Sometimes we have to shed thoughts that don't work, right? There's a big difference in making sure that you know yourself, your dreams, your goals, your heart, your business well enough to know when to push forward and when to say, this doesn't serve me anymore. This doesn't work anymore. And it's hard. It's hard to let go of clients. It's hard to let go of team members, people that you love that just aren't doing what it is that you need them to do. It's a really tricky thing to do. But if you are constantly using the BRAVE method, remember BRAVE stands for boundaries, reassessment, reframing, resilience, action, accountability, vulnerability, expand, and empower. If you're actually using that on a day-to-day basis in your life and you can acknowledge which element of the BRAVE method you're employing at that time, this will become an easier and easier thing for you to do. When you have knowledge and information, you have power. Knowledge and information are power. How you use that is really up to you. Once you have that knowledge and information, once you have that power, you are then empowered to make decisions, to say yes to the right things, to say no to the right things. And I encourage you to have a bit of a litmus test. If I say yes to this thing, is it going to bring me closer to my goals? Is it going to make me feel good? Am I going to enjoy myself? Right? Those are the sorts of questions that I want you to ask. And as you're doing your regular reassessments of what's happening in your life and in your business, if you don't get a yes to those questions, maybe it's time to let it go. And that's okay. Hard to do, but okay. If you need support letting something go, we can always chat. You can hit me up for a virtual coffee date. Just send me a message here or send me a DM. We'll have a virtual coffee date And I'll see if I can help you through something like that. Barbie says, yes, getting rid of things that do not bring you happiness. I really am a firm believer that we are in control of our happiness, that we have the option of allowing something to make us miserable or choosing to change something about the situation or about ourselves. Either we remove ourselves from the situation or we change the way we're thinking and feeling about a situation. And that is also okay. Remember what I always say to you: change the things you can, change your mindset about the things that you cannot change, right? And by changing your mindset, maybe you say, I'm not going to let this bother me. I surrender this. It's not going to own real estate in my mind and in my heart. Or maybe you say, I'm going to get out of this situation because it's not worth the energy that I'm expunging. Or you decide that it's going to be okay. You're just going to let it go. Not going to worry about it, right? So there's a really big difference in getting information and deciding something no longer serves you and being a quitter. So I don't want you to be hard on yourself, give yourself trouble for saying no to some things, for taking some things off your plate, for delegating, for removing things from your giant to-do list. It's okay. We always have choices, even if we don't like them, Barbie says. That's actually like legitimately the truth. It's 100% the truth. We always have choices, even if we do not always like the choices. Sometimes you're picking from two not optimal situations, but you have some control. You really do. Samantha says, I wish I'd learned all of this 10 to 15 years ago, but I don't think I would have been ready to embrace the method back then. You get where you get there when you get there. I think that's really true. I was having that conversation with, again, my oldest today, years later. We were joking about how she cares a lot about everything. And I have zero fucks to give about most things. And I say, when my friends turn 40, I say, welcome to the Zero Fucks Club. But I think that comes from life. It comes from lived experience. When you're younger, you do really think that everything matters. You do really think everybody's watching you. You do really think you're the center of the world, the center of attention. And we need our own lived experiences to realize that nobody's really paying that much attention to us, right? Like, we're doing our thing. Maybe we're connecting. Hopefully we're connecting. Hopefully we're inspiring. But what we do is about us. It's not about everyone else. And when we stop focusing on everyone else as we build our lives and our businesses and we make our dreams come true, we make them come true more honestly and authentically. They land better. They connect better. People respond to us better. So funny. The more we let go, the zero fucks we give, the fewer fucks we give, the more people are like, I want a little of that. I want a little of that energy. I want a little of that attraction that you put out there. It's wild. It's like people who, have been struggled to get pregnant and then decide they're going to adopt and then get pregnant right away. Because something happens physiologically when we let go of something that's got a lot of power over us. And when we release, the energy shifts. It's kind of amazing. Barbie just joined the 40s club and she has zero fucks to give. Woo, woo. I love it very much. 40's it. It's it. I love being in my 40s. We were just talking about that. My 30s were hard. I had my oldest 6 weeks before I turned 30. So we're going to lump her in there. Although I usually don't. I'm usually like, I wasn't 30 yet. I wasn't. I don't know why that matters, but I had 4 babies. I was in the thick of building a business. I was in a miserable marriage. I was a closet lesbian. Like, my 30s were hard. My 30s were hard. Then in the end of my 30s, I came out. I got a divorce. I closed my business. I started a new business. I burned my life down. I rebuilt it. Like, the 30s were hard. There was a whole lot of letting go of shit that didn't serve me in that time frame. There was a whole lot of deciding with the information that I had that this was not who I wanted to be or how I wanted to live my life or the kind of parent I wanted to be or the role model I wanted to be. And so I was the only one that could change it. I held all the cards. I held all the power. And I could let that keep me stuck and living small and terrified all the time. Or I could give zero fucks and go out and get it done and do it the way I want and have the life I want. And I do. And I'm here. And it doesn't mean it's always easy, because every day is not always easy, but it is honest and it's fun most of the time. And I have this amazing job with these amazing clients who are like sunshine onto my soul on a daily basis. I have incredible creative partners across the board. I have an amazing family. again, not every day is great. Last night I was cranky as fuck. I was short tempered and snippy with people. But you know what? I apologize and I give myself a little love and tender attention, and we start over again the next day. So I'd love to hear from all of you. What would serve you to let go? What would serve you to walk away from it because it's not taking you where you want to go? I want to hear that from you. Also, I really, really, really want to urge you all, if you have not checked out my Kickstarter campaign that Rachel Swanson and I have out, it's for the Create Brave cards. Okay, so these are not tarot cards, but they're tarot inspired the way that they look visually. They are, we call them a source for guiding and manifesting your next steps personally and professionally, helping you think outside the box, get creative, be unique, get unstuck. So we use the Brave method. We use her creativity coaching stuff, and they're beautiful. The artwork is beautiful. I'll put the Kickstarter link here, but also just go to Kickstarter and search Create Brave and you'll be able to find them. But I'll put the link here. If you're into it, back us. If you're not into it, would you just share it with other people? That would mean the world to me. I would love it. Super excited to be back with you all. I love our little chats on Wednesdays. Thanks for those of you who have tuned in. For those of you who catch it later, be sure to say hi so that I know you were here. It's a joy and it's a pleasure to be on this journey with you. So remember today, every day, go out and choose bravely. Do something brave. Get a little uncomfortable. Do something that feels a little scary. You can do it. You have all the power. Take care. Heather Vickery. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.